I decided, no, I will go back and give up the possibility of having the Swiss citizenship, and I will be proud of only being Egyptian. So I came back on the 14th of September 2011 and officially joined the campaign of Mr. Musa. I stayed on the campaign until January 5th, and then because of my travel obligations I couldn't be committed anymore. So I just took a leave of absence. Then I stayed 6 months only writing articles, etc., etc. And then I had some opportunities to become part of some committees, the Supreme Press Council, and so on. Then the situation violently changed after the events of Ittihadiyya in December 2012 and so on. And the events continued to evolve in the direction of a change of regime. And 30th of June came, and we all know the great revolution that happened and the change of regime on the 3rd of July. Thereafter, I left for 3 months abroad. I stayed with my sister. And while I was there, I got an offer to join the Egyptian Feminist Union as communications director. And the Egyptian Feminist Union is headed by Dr. Hoda Badran, a very astute woman, very clever, brilliant and charismatic. I knew her before working together with her. I always looked at her with a lot of respect for her role for women. Joined the Egyptian Feminist Union on October 1st, and there I am, and I believe that I've made a safe landing.
About the most important people in her life, she mentioned.
To start with, the greatest person that has affected my life are my parents, Muhammad Abdel Nabi and Nadia Hussein Mazhar al-Tobki. Both were very effective in my life. They influenced my mind, they influenced my heart, and they influenced my soul. When we grew up, my sister has a very big influence on me. She is my younger sister, but in fact I feel that she is my mother, not my sister, because she is more experienced as a mother, a wife, a woman, and I learn from her a lot. She's my confidant, my sister. Then comes my aunt, Madiha Mazhar al-Tobki, who passed away 1 year ago. She was a remarkable woman, a woman who divorced twice, had children, of course has a lot of grandchildren, and who stood alone fighting the winds of life. And I think this is a remarkable role for a woman, especially, you know, she died at 91, so this means that she was born in the 20s, and to be with this kind of stamina and strength, and to be able to face the wind and the challenges of life is something remarkable. She was that kind of woman. She influenced my life, and she was really, I respect her a lot. I mean, I always thought that if she had continued her education, her higher education and so on, she would have been one of the stars of academia. But unfortunately, you know, in the past, in the 20s, people, as soon as they finished school, they got married. And this was the kind of life they lived. But thank God, my parents were fluent in foreign languages. My father started speaking French before Arabic. And my mother and my aunt, and my aunt from my father's side and uncle, they all spoke French and English fluently. And they have affected me a lot, my immediate family, because we were extremely close. We were a close family, and so on. I mean, maybe today it's my grandson who is affecting me. I mean, because you know, he's my sweet pie. So, and he knows how to handle me. He's very young, but he knows how to, you know, joke with me and take care of me, and think I should be taking care of him, but he's the one who often takes care of me. When his little brother was born, when I went to see them, he took my hand and he told me, I want to show you my brother Aziz. So I went with him to see his brother Aziz. He showed me and he told me, this is Aziz, my brother. And Amin is almost 4, but he's a wonderful grandson. Of course, I have Mansour and Aziz also as grandsons, but he was the first grandson, and usually the first grandson has a very special seat in one's life. A part of my family, I would say, again, I will cite Muhammad Hassanin Hekel as the man who drove me to journalism. Whether it was good or bad, time will tell. Ahmed Bahauddin, who drove me to listen to people. Ahmed Bahauddin was a man who sits in his office. You enter his office while he's writing his article for Ahram, and he would stop writing and tell you, please come in, have a seat. He would talk to you, and then you finish whatever you want from him, and you leave, and you see him picking up his pen, continuing the article. Others would completely isolate themselves from the public, and take this writing exercise as a holy mission. He was a very modest man, and I think he was also extremely cultured, and he was a man who loved the Arab region, loved his, you know, back door. He was knowledgeable about Palestine like nobody was knowledgeable, and he told me about places in Palestine that I did not know about. And so it's very important that you have this mix of skilled writing with modesty, with culture, and so on. Of course, Mr. Hekel is somebody who is extraordinary. I mean, you would put him among, I don't know among what, the pedestal of what, but a very, very, very high pedestal that nobody can reach. And he has influenced all of us from, 1948, I was just born, but because he was in the war of Palestine with Gamal Abdel Nasser. There they met. But he has influenced us through his books and his writings. I remember somebody, one of the famous journalists, saying that, you know, Hekel would come to your doorstep every Friday because of his article, Frankly Speaking, and it would be under your doorstep. Hekel would be under your doorstep every Friday. So all Egyptians for many years were accustomed to read Hekel every Friday, and nobody after Hekel could erase the memory of Hekel and his writings. The same for the level of writing of Ahmed Bahauddin. These two people, you cannot compare them with anybody, even if they reach the best of skilled writing. I mean, I would say that Salama Ahmad Salama, God rest his soul in peace, was one of those who affected the Egyptians, because he was very honest in his writings. He tackled very difficult problems, and he was frank. And I think this is why he did not reach the post of editor-in-chief in one of the governmental newspapers. Of course, he was editor-in-chief of Shuruq, or the naming of the editor-in-chief had another terminology, but it's like editor-in-chief. Salama Ahmad Salama was one of those who were very close to the pedestal of Hekel and Ahmed Bahauddin. Apart of these three, I would say, I mean, the two persons who affected my life are Mr. Hekel and Mr. Bahauddin. Salama, Ahmad Salama was very important in my life because he was a senior colleague and he helped me. When I had a very big problem with Ahram, when I reached the age of 55, I was abroad on leave of absence, and according to the regulations of Al-Ahram, after 10 years of absence, you have to come back or submit your resignation. And I was asked if I'm not going to come back to submit my resignation. That was just before I became 55. So I looked for, where is Mr. Hekel to help me? He was on medical leave in the United States, so I couldn't call him. So I called Mr. Salama and I asked him to help me, and he delivered. He told me, just send me a letter and I will present it to the editor-in-chief, and hopefully he will agree to keep you on until you reach 55. Because you know, as a woman, 55, you can still take all the benefits of your pension and your lump sum. But if you resign before 55, you lose a lot. So anyway, I didn't want to lose my career and also lose the money. I mean, already I had lost my career in Al-Ahram, so it would have been very painful also to lose material things. And he got me the okay of the editor-in-chief, so I stayed on until 55. But what was really heartbreaking was that this editor-in-chief left Al-Ahram, I think, 2 years after I submitted my resignation. And this really hurt me a lot because I'm always attached to Al-Ahram. And when people who have lived Al-Ahram 20 years ago or 30 years ago associate my name with Al-Ahram, but I tell them, you know, I was just a journalist in Al-Ahram. Why are you saying Hidayat of Al-Ahram? They say, because this is where you were always. This is where you have a print. I find it very strange because I did not achieve the pinnacle of a status of an editor-in-chief. But the opposite, I find with the people a lot of recognition of my ties with Al-Ahram, which is of course a source of pride for me. So I would say my family, my immediate family, the two people I mentioned, and then of course there are people who come and go in your life, who influence you, and then the influence does not continue through life. Currently I have a lot of admiration for Huda Badran, and I learn from her a lot, even at my age. You know, you have to learn every day. And I think there is a lot to be done for women in Egypt. So I am pleased to be there because I tell you, I made a safe landing because what I'm doing is related to a cause which is dear to my heart. And therefore, I function without duress. I'm not tired to work. It's not something limiting me. In fact, it is something opening my horizon and opening my scope of intellectual input. So I like very much working there.